Hello everybody, I'm Victor Grimblood, and this is another Inzektor deck profile, but this one is different from the last one because this is Inzektors mixed with Metalfoes. I feel like it's a lot more consistent and just overall a stronger deck than the last one, which was very, as one of the comments put it, very unlikely to actually pull off any of the combos, and I completely agree. And this is essentially take two for Inzektors in 2019. Let's get straight into it. So first of all, of course, is the one copy of Dragonfly because it's at 1, best card in the archetype. Followed closely by the 3 copies of Hornet. Second best card for sure, just blows stuff up and gets summons off Dragonfly or searches off Centipede. Next is 1, 2, 3 copies of Centipede, not just one. Really important card, it searches any Inzektor when an Inzektor is equipped and goes to the grave. 2 copies of Ladybug, just because it's another essentially Hornet for getting searches off but not destroying things. 1 copy of Firefly for the Link Karibo play. And then 1 Giga Weevil and 1 Giga Mantis because they're both essentially Monster Reborns. And that's the entire Inzektor monster lineup. Next up for the Metalfoes, I'm playing 2 copies of Rare Metalfoes Bismugear. It's 8 scale, and during the end phase you get a search when it's destroyed, which you can either destroy it with Hornet or your other Metalfoes scale. 3 copies of Metalfoes Steelin, another 8 scale, also a level, well, it doesn't really matter, he's level 2 I guess. Another 8 scale, you can destroy your equipped cards equipped to your Inzektors like all the Metalfoes can. For anyone who doesn't know what Metalfoes do, they're all most of them are non-effect monsters except for Bismugear, which has on the end phase, if it's destroyed, search for a Metalfoes monster. And the pendulum scale effects are you can destroy 1 face-up card you control to set a Metalfoes spell or trap from your deck. So pretty much you use them to either destroy each other, or in this case destroy the Inzektor equips to set a card and trigger either the equip a card's effect or the Inzektor or the equip 2's effect. Next is 3 copies of Metalfoes Silvered. Again, it's a good 1 scale Metalfoes monster. 2 copies of Gold Driver because I only own 2. It's a good level 4 monster. And 2 copies of Valaflame again because I only own 2. And that's it for the Metalfoes monsters. Next up is a little engine that I have in the deck. The 3 copies of Symphonic Warrior Guitar and 2 copies of Symphonic Warrior mics. What these cards do is when this card is in your pendulum scale, you can discard a card to summon this card out of your deck, and this card gives you an additional normal summon. So it's pretty much, if you have a low level Metalfoes in your hand, you get Electromite and you still have your main normal summon, as well as a future pendulum summon because you have Electromite and it's getting you a search for another Metalfoes. And if he's summoned, you can summon him back from your grave, which it hasn't really come up at all in my playtesting, but it's a pretty cool little effect if you decide to go for that. And the last little engine in the deck is 2 copies of the Phantom Knight's Silent Boots. Dennis! Sorry, cat jumping up all the time. This is for a combo in summoning out the Phantom Knight's Rusty Bardiche. Pretty much because all Inzektors are dark, so you can easily make Rusty Bardiche and then send this to grave. Or I run 2 because if you draw 1, you still have 1 to send to grave. And then getting your... for me, I'm running... Oh, you'll see. It's coming up soon. 1 copy of Foolish Burial to get your Hornet in grave, or theoretically you could get this into grave. 2 copies of Inzektor Sword Excalibur, just as an equip spell to pop and get your Inzektor's effects, as well as getting your big Inzektors back to your hand from grave. And the last spell is 1 copy of Metalfoes Fusion, just because it is, you can set it and then destroy it with Hornet and get a free draw to get more cards in your hand. You can set it with the Metalfoes monster. That's it for the spells. For the traps, this first, I got 2, I want to run 2 Phantom Knight's Fogblade. This is a proxy for a second Fogblade. Just because I don't own the Elder Entity Azathoth. So just two copies of Fogblade for the monster effect negation. And lastly, 3 copies of Metalfoes Combination. You set this off of your Metalfoes monsters effects, the pendulum scale effects, and then you pop it with Hornet. If you have it on Dragonfly, you get a summon. If you have it on Centipede, you get a search. And then this will also search for another Metalfoes monster, so you can keep your scales up. And that's it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck, there's the 1 copy of Link Karibo for the Inzektor Ant. Or Firefly, not Ant, is it? It's the Inzektor nobody really uses, so it's hard to remember. Firefly. Inzektor Firefly. Level 1. Next up is 1 copy of the Inzektor Link monster, because this card is amazing for extending your plays, as well as it's a Link 2 Dark monster, so this plus 1 other Inzektor will get you the Phantom Knight Link monster. 1 copy of Heavy Metalfoes Electromite, because it is also a pendulum deck. 1 Nightmare Cerberus and 1 Nightmare Phoenix, just because they are very strong cards. 1 Underclock Taker. I don't really make this a whole lot anymore. I'm probably going to end up taking it out for something, I just don't know what yet. And I don't have a whole lot of options for Link monsters right now, because I'm a little bit broke. Next is 1 copy of Proxy Dragon, just as a good arrows for the deck. That'll probably end up coming out too. That's it for the Link 1 and 2s. Next up for the Link 3s, there's 1 Trigate Wizard for extra negation. 1 Summon Sorceress, because you can use the Metalfoes Electromite with another Metalfoes monster. Pull this out. If it's pointing to an Inzektor, you can summon another Inzektor from your deck, and then get your Inzektor plays going off of that. And there's the 1 Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche. Really good card, obviously a lot of decks are running him, and I really feel like this deck can make him very easily. 1 copy of Gaiba Saber, the Lightning Shadow. I'm probably going to end up taking this card out too. There are definitely better Link 3s, it's just Nightmare Phoenix is, or Nightmare Unicorn is a pretty expensive card, so right now I have him. And the last Link monster is 1 Borolo Dragon. I also do not own Bull Sword Dragon, obviously, because I'll definitely be running that. And then there's the 1 Cyber Dragon Nova and 1 Cyber Dragon Infinity, just because you do have the 2 level 5 Morphtronic machine monsters. So if you're able to pull them out, you drop the Nova and then Infinity on top of it. But honestly, I'm probably going to end up taking this out as well, because that doesn't happen all that often. For a while I was running just a really small Metalfoes, or not Metalfoes, Cleafort. I was running a really small Cleafort engine, just like Scout and Monolith, and making these was a lot easier with that little engine in the deck. But I took that out for consistency, so these guys are probably going to come out too. And lastly, there's 1 copy of Metalfoes Mythilium, which is also probably going to end up coming out, because you really don't get the chance to make it all that often. So the cards that I'll probably add to the deck in place of like these cards, really. I definitely want Nightmare Unicorn and Nightmare Griffin in the deck for some really strong stun possibilities. That's all I can really think of for sure, but probably, I mean, Boral Sword Dragon. Not really sure what else. I'm sure you guys have ideas. Let me know in the comments. And that's it for the deck profile. I hope you all liked it. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know how you think I can improve the deck. I'm definitely interested in trying to make Inzektors as good as I possibly can. So yeah, let me know any ideas you have, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye bye!